Okay. Thank you. I'd like to thank James for having me tonight and everyone for coming out. I went to this great workshop a couple weeks ago with Dane Swan over there, and one of his tips was to take 4 deep breaths. There was also some dance moves, but I'm not going to do that. Unsettlers. We could go unwest, get us an unwagon, and be unsettlers. 2 images. Wake up. The house is empty. Quiet. Abandoned. Vacant rooms stare like the unblinking eyes of the dead. Colored still, but lifeless. Flop over, sleep in. No need to rise now, no more occasion. Rest while dust settles, motes in empty eyes. Unsettling layers build in the empty space. Iconography. Some nights I find myself half empty, praying to this tiny icon, hoping for a second coming. But still nothing, no sacred miracles, only my weeping stigmata now. Stone rolled back, tomb-like garage half empty, optimistic, glassy-eyed stare. But still nothing, only my weeping stigmata, no sacred miracles. Now and still, some nights, I find myself praying to this tiny icon, half empty, hoping for a second coming. Thank you. That's actually about a Facebook friend who is no longer a real life friend. History, for example. Back then, people were so much braver, more sophisticated. I mean, 100 years ago, or 1,000, they used antiques every day and for everything. That's pretty much the whole poem. There's a bit more, but I liked your ending better. Evolution. If time was as fluid as the ocean, and they say it is, would the sea give us back life? Imagine this, a calm dawn sea, gray woolly light, lifeboats floating, frozen bodies, deck chairs, a strange thick quiet. Slowly, boats circle, bodies stir, sobbing, and moaning begins. Quietly at first, then drawing closer, a loud wail as the sea foams and belches. Large iron ass end and sudden steamship erupts. People gather round, scramble up rope, fingers scrabble on iron hull. Cold floating babies stop their crying and leap into relieved mother's arms. Families and lovers reunite in warm cabin berths below decks. The band plays and strangers dance under glowing chandelier. Icebergs skulk silently north to fuse to Greenland kin. Dinner is served on bone china, and somewhere a monkey climbs down from the trees and swims away. Cleaning house. Like a half-wild dog, I find myself still frightened since you've gone by the vacuum. It's a true story. Promised landing. I wandered in the wilderness for 40 days, then wandered wild again another 40. Then I wandered 40 days more and went home, lost. It happens. Some of these aren't really my poems, they're really bad attempts at poetry on my behalf, and really good edits by my friends and co-writers, so thank you. They're here and they know who they are. My badminton. We all used to play as kids. My dad not letting us use the nice wood and catgut rackets safe in their stretcher frames, or birds with real feathers. Us kids with the warped nylon, cheap metal of consumers distributing catalog dreams. Fake plastic one-piece toys with scuffed red noses that uninspired, and never a net, just vacant parental calls from the next room for less noise. to keep the racket down, and to quit hitting the stucco ceiling. El Dorado, you make me feel like $1,000,000, a virtual gold mine, rich, deep. You make me feel like a gold mine, craggy hard rock swamp, cyanide solvent, worth 2 ounces to the ton after crushing. Everyone's laughing with me. Comes to mind whole grain snacks and gingerbread, soda biscuits, self-leavening bread, raisins, gingham fabric and sunlight, green leaves, summer wind, light breeze, and optimistic flies on the wrong side of window glass, and enlightenment. Okay, don't laugh, this is serious. Business end. Day 1 of the Wilderness Survival Workshop, we learned to drink pure rainwater cupped in fresh deer tracks. Day 2, we learned to drink only from the front tracks. I'm telling you, it's serious. Don't Horizon. Autumnal sunset orange, zest and maple brown syrup. Glows delicious amber in deep water. Blue sky distant, rusty goose honk, trumpet, song. Asymmetric wedge, shotgun, slow motion. South towards next summer, gold moment fades to colorless dark gathering like soot along opposite horizon. To colorless dark gathering like soot along opposite south towards next summer gold. Moment fades, song asymmetric, wedge shotgun slow, motion blue sky distant. Rusty goose honk trumpet glows. Delicious amber in deep, water zest and maple. Brown syrup, autumnal, sunset orange. Red moment in fur. The warm red impulse of blood after the sudden soft fur jolt of recognition and release. The soft red flow released, reflexive twitch, stretch, groan of one last breath. Soft red flows from mouth and nose on leaves and grows, then leaves the soft fur form free and still. They said follow your dreams, so I slept in. Does that count for the poetry theme challenge? No. It'll fit the card. Early morning metaphor. I dreamed you were a lake, and I watched the wind play across your smooth surface and raise waves that rose on swells and crashed spent on your moonlit shore. I woke up shipwrecked, sheets disheveled, washed up naked. I want to learn your geography, come to new awarenesses of your terrain. I want to swim in your moonlight lake and feel your waves wash my skin. See the midnight outline of your soft-hilled shore smooth against the stars. Tell me about your lake, trace your contours in my mind. I want to linger, talk to me. We could drink coffee and speak of the depths of lakes and other hydrologic metaphor in the downtown safety of Daylight Starbucks at 3 p.m. this afternoon. I used to wonder if I didn't write poetry to get girls, and now I'm starting to think maybe I'm getting girls so I can write poetry after it goes all horrible. Funny, but it's true. Lying dogs. My heart is a dog lying curled up in the corner somewhere, waiting for you to swing that front door open wide again and sing hello. In my dream, paws flick, tail flip, flip, flips, and a soft whimpered bark escapes. Then I wake up, memoryless, stretch out my length, turn around 3 times, then curl up again, alone. This one comes from a quote from Thomas Middleton. The quote is, "I cannot be carried away with a cast of manchettes, a bottle of wine and a custard, no nor with a satin gown, music, coaches, and the midnight revels. It's called Esto Parabessa. What carries you away if not bread, fancy, foreign sensual flavor? Textured body broken wide open, for your feast laid over, banquet table wide and wine cups overflow, and you dessert, your dessert, no custards last night's stand surrounds us now, but sweet sensual cloy on the lips still, and spice hints allude to rumors. Satin gown gone now. Music coaxes, midnight reveals, revels in what carries you away, away, what carries you away, if not bread, if not wine, if not music, if not this. You know, they say that if you stare into the void stares back. The same is also true of farm fields. Try it. Lupine outline, tree line. Lupine outline loping along, corn stubble field in winter sun, white on white, noonday glare, yellow flecked cornstalk and fir, tree line. Lupine outline loping in sun, corn stubble fir on winter white, field along flecked day, noon yellow, cornstalk glare and white, tree line. Lupine outline, corn stubble loping, in sun on winter fir flecked white, field cornstalk day, along noon glare, yellow and white, tree line. Lupine outline loping, along corn stubble sun in winter field, white on white, noonday glare, yellow flecked cornstalk and fir, tree line, and it's gone. I've been doing some experiment with dream transcriptions, and I don't know how it's working, but here it is. 7:56 Tuesday morning. Dreamed about stars in the city, dense visible under the cloud line. Some old world harvesting machine, track marks pressed in dirt still, where your father, some arbitrary day years before, had climbed down, wiped the sweat off, and never gone back. Drunk men in smoky rooms, celebrating their end of the ritual, driving backwards through rush hour just to make a left-hand turn right. Old photographs of prop gags in Lake Ontario floating in black and white. Mid-lake waves block views of towering Toronto. Floating sofa with waving people. Old boats with wooden decks and the black bank towers of the early late dream period. Mid-century midnight, things bolted to farm roofs. Red painted milk cannons, clear glass canning jars. It's not the end, it's just the page. A secret knock, in time with the folk music from the room behind the door. I don't recognize this familiar place. I'm waking up now and have forgotten most of the memories. But the scenes are still fresh, but I can no longer recall them. And the stars, dense nebula, open clusters, startlingly crisp, low on the horizon, persist still. The bubblegum flavored toilet paper, that even in the dream was a joke. There was more about the party in the farmhouse, or it may have been a train station, except for the giant yellow harvesting machine and people floating there in black and white, and everything seemed Ukrainian. I spent some time in the prairies at one point in my life, I don't know. This next one, based on a photograph a friend of mine took, it reminded me of Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring, but a bit more hip. It's more like Girl with an iPhone and Instagram. Mirror happy. I'm reflecting on your mirror picture, you looking the other way. Backwards and mirror-wise. Means really you're looking this way, or is it me who has it backwards? And you a little sad. But again, maybe that's mirror happy. Flipped on its back, backwards, words, but I ramble. The photo makes me wonder where you're looking at, and for what, and maybe me too. Wondering just where to look, and when, and for what. And trying to see, and not blink. Being there. I never could have done this without you, so thank you for this, for not being here sometimes. I think about you still, but not right now. Yeah, I'm fickle. all I know. Just got a couple more to go. This one's called Stars. Ask for stars from me, and you'll get mostly empty midnight sky. Dark stretching from sunset horizon to the blue bird song-filled pause just before dawn. Punctured sometimes by the bright points of subtle-hued light, recognizable patterns, familiar constellations, imagined asterisms. Look deeper and more detail resolves. Look deeper, but still it's mostly just inky black, cliched expanse, a dark nothing against that impenetrable wall of close-focused stars, underpinned by the low space moan background radiation. Ancient sounds, original sounds, sound that invented sound so that it could be heard. Then the flick of a pocket lighter, the ephemeral glow of a late-night cigarette. And this is my last one for tonight. It's a little bit of a homecoming. A few years ago, there was a writing workshop here that was run by Sue Reynolds, and actually a bunch of the people that are here tonight. And frankly, if I'd known how good they were, I would not have shown up. But I did, and they kicked it out of me. And this was really the first poem I wrote that realized maybe was better than I was, and I should probably, keep going. And it was written in this room. It's called Unbecoming. 100 Ways to Be a Butterfly. The first 75 or so are about caterpillars and ignorance. Ground-bound leaf chewer looks up at the sky in fear. The first 75 butterfly things are about caterpillars, slung low and inching one self-length at a time. Most of the 100 things about being a butterfly are about being a caterpillar and staying alive just long enough. The last 2 or 3 things about being a butterfly are about forgetting. Forgetting caterpillar things, about not getting wrapped up and getting wrapped up. Forgetting about the 100 legs, the aching knees, the fear of the sky, and learning about the wings. Thanks very much.